If you're single-handing or you're a couple in need of something small enough to manage, but want modern amenities for less than 100 grand and a boat that can do just about anything and is well made and fast and comfortable, I give you a hidden gem. You want to go live on a sailboat in the Bahamas, maybe float down the East Coast and visit New York City, Cape May, Annapolis, Wilmington, Charleston, Savannah, Georgia to sit on the Forrest Gump bench, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Daytona, Palm Beach, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. You need a sailboat that's good for that stuff, that's cheap, but big enough so you won't feel like you're living in a van anymore. They started making these in 2008, so it's not even that old yet. This is the Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 36i. The 36 means you can handle it by yourself or short-handed with your spouse. The I means injection molded. That's high-tech stuff. The hull of this boat is still hand-laid like every other boat in the world, but the top sides are a bit more techy. They put the fiberglass in a mold and inject resin into it with a big force to make sure there's no air trapped, and the whole process makes for stronger and lighter glasswork. It's also less wasteful and cleaner environmentally. What this means is the top sides of this boat are lighter, which means less weight above the vertical center of gravity, so a better sailing sailboat. And it keeps the total weight of the 36-footer at around 12,500 pounds, so it's spry, agile, and maneuverable, like me 10 years ago. These sell all day for less than 100 grand too, so normal people will actually be able to afford it, and if you can't, it's less than 20 years old, so your bank will also finance it if you want to make monthly payments. Some highlights of this boat that you won't find on many 36-footers. It's got a sugar scoop on the back to get you in and out of the beautiful water more easily. It's got a Yanmar diesel inside, so you can get parts anywhere that you end up, and it's easy to work on. It's got a bathroom with a separate shower on a 36-footer. It's got a 94-gallon freshwater tank and a sail area to displacement of 20.35, which is well into the high performance category. And this one is a shoal draft at under 5 feet, perfect for the Florida Keys, or that tricky entrance to Norman's Key, the most beautiful anchorage in the Bahamas, if you ask me. The one we're looking at today is in Florida, and of all the 36 eyes for sale, this is a gem because there's only 1,400 hours on the diesel engine. It's already got a stack pack with lazy jacks, so we get that sugar scoop that we want, and pretty roomy cockpit for solo or a team of 2 living on board. We would need to add an arch to this boat for solar and dinghy davits, but she's 12 feet wide, almost all the way to the back, so that's a big arch for lots of solar. I'm thinking 800 watts with 2 panels and room for a 10-foot rib back here. She's already got some Ray Marine gear, and I particularly like this pod because if I want to, I can cover it with a piece of white starboard plastic and make new holes for any set of gauges I want to use. Inside, there's a heck of a lot of boat here on a 36-footer. We get a really nicely appointed L-shaped galley with loads of room and a gimbaled 2-burner in front of the door to the aft cabin. Yes, an aft cabin on a 36-footer. It's not much for spaciousness, but this is just a 36-foot boat, and all the money we save on docking fees will help us sleep a lot better at night anyway. Moving forward, she's got a fairly roomy saloon with wraparound seating that feels modern and open with big windows that are not the Jeanneau style of window that curves around corners or anything. So if we need to replace these, it won't actually be that difficult. This boat's party piece has to be the head though. We get an actual walk-in shower with a sit-down with a glass door, which is basically unheard of on a boat this size. Not having to clean water off the whole bathroom after a shower is a game changer. This boat comes with a Jabsco standard pump head, easy to maintain and get parts for, but I might opt to upgrade to electric. The Nav Station on this boat is interesting too. It slides back and forth, so when you don't need to sit at it, it slides over to the bulkhead to make more room on the bench. It's clever. It's likely unnecessary, but maybe it's nice to have. Good spot to chill in the middle of the boat here with room to feed 5 or 6 of your friends if taco night is on your boat this week. And an all-around nice place to be. Usually the couple on the 36-footer is not the host of the party because there just isn't enough room. But you can start stealing some of the party from the 45 footers with this boat. There genuinely is room to host a gaggle of sailors in here. Moving forward, we get a low-slung V-berth in a private room, which is kind of nice for storage or guests to come for a sleepover. In all, the 36i reviews very well from everyone who's ever looked at it, and it's one of those boats with no major faults, no major problems. No one complains about this boat, which is kind of a difficult thing to find today. It's hard to fault this boat, and I mean this particular one that's for sale in Florida right now, other than maybe the price. They have it listed at almost $100,000, and while the low hour Yanmar is likely the reason for that, there are several others listed cheaper. Like this one in New York, which already has davits on the back and a place for solar and an almost full enclosure and only 1,900 hours on the engine, and it's almost $30,000 cheaper. You could literally grab this boat in New York today and be in the Bahamas for November without much of an issue. Who said sailing has to be expensive? In fact, if anybody wants to go half seas on this one, I can be in New York in a couple hours. So what are we not getting with the 36i? Why wouldn't we want it? Well, one of the biggest sailboat depreciation points happens when the boat turns 20 years old, and these are all about to turn 20. At 20, lenders take them less seriously, often turning down loans on them, so they'll be harder to sell because there's less people buying. Also at 20, they're due for their first new set of standing rigging. That's $15,000 worth of effort they'll all need unless the boat was solely sailed on fresh water, in which case you might get a few more years before that bill is due. Also at 20, if they haven't had it done yet, they're due for new sails. Dacrons are usually great for the first 10 years, maybe 15. Anything after that is borrowed time unless the sails have been stored in a sail loft hiding from the sun and water for a decade. Also, it's an age where we start seeing leaky windows and water intrusion in the deck core, blisters on the hull. 20 is an age where you really need to do a survey and know what you're doing when you go look at it if you're going to buy one of these boats. If you can get past all that stuff and find a good one, I challenge you to find a better boat to run the East Coast and the Bahamas on for less than $100,000. Go ahead and try. I'll wait. While we wait, can you do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button on this video? The likes really help the channel. Also, the mission here at Lady K Sailing has always been to get more people sailing more easily, and I really couldn't do it without the help of the patrons, people who give as little as a couple of bucks an episode to make this possible. To help with that mission, please consider becoming a patron, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, what you don't think, what you had for breakfast. Until next week, friends, keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. We'll see ya.